Hi, this is Zibby Owens, and you're listening to Totally Booked with Zibby, formerly Moms Don't Have Time to Read Books. In my daily show, I interview today's latest best-selling, buzziest, or underrated authors and story creators whose work I think is worth your time. As a bookstore owner, publisher, author, and obviously podcaster, I get a comprehensive look at everything that's coming out and spend my time curating the best books so you don't have to. Stay in the know, get insider insights, and connect with guests like I do every single day. For more information, go to zibbymedia.com and follow me on Instagram at Zibby Owens. Bobbi Brown is the author of Still Bobbi, a memoir. Bobbi Brown is a beauty industry titan, world-renowned makeup artist, best-selling author, sought-after speaker, serial entrepreneur, and the founder of her eponymous beauty brand, and Jones Road Beauty. Born in Chicago and a graduate of Emerson College, Bobbi was named one of Fortune's most powerful women in 2021, and in 2022 was named one of Forbes' 50 over 50 most influential women. Brown has received the Glamour Woman of the Year Award, the Fashion Group International Night of Stars Beauty Award, and the Jackie Robinson Foundation's Robbie Humanitarian Award. She was appointed by President Obama to serve on the Advisory Committee for Trade Policy and Negotiation and was inducted into the New Jersey Hall of Fame. She holds honorary doctorates from Montclair State University, Fashion Institute of Technology, Monmouth University, and Emerson College. Welcome, Bobbi. Thank you so much for coming on Totally Booked to talk about Still Bobbi. Congrats.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Nice to talk to you.
Nice to talk to you too. I'm so glad to have met you briefly at Authors Night, which was so crowded and really fun.
So crowded. They said it was the most crowded Authors Night they've ever had.
I believe it. It was nonstop, which was great. Okay, so this is not your first rodeo with coming out with a book, obviously, which you write about in this book, but you did decide at this point to tell the whole story. And this is as much business story as mom story as creative story. I mean, this is really weaving in all the threads, or I don't know, make some makeup joke, all the brushes, whatever. Yeah. Why this book? Why now? Why this format? Tell me the story.
I mean, honestly, it's not a very interesting story. This amazing woman showed up in my office one day through a friend and said, I need to talk to you. I'm a book agent. And she said, I want to do your memoir. I said, I'm not ready for a memoir. I mean, I'm not done. She goes, no, you have to write your story. There's a story, to tell, to really help other people figure out how to live their life. And I was like, and she got me a book deal. And I said, okay. So I dove in, as I always do, 100%, and went through a couple writers until I found someone I could work with. And then just really dove in, like kind of weaving the stories from my grandparents to me now as a grandmother.
Amazing. Well, one thing that you did that I really appreciated was really showed the reader where you have areas of exceptional confidence, right? Like, you are good at a certain thing, and so you're going to talk about it and put your foot down and all of that. And then there are so many areas where you are not as confident, and you share those sort of vulnerabilities with us as well. But you show when to double down and when to sort of hang back. Can you talk a little bit about that and where you think that comes from, or if you just came that way?
I don't know really where it comes from. I think, observing my grandparents, my aunt and uncle, my parents, who kind of, they didn't know what they were doing. They navigated their businesses, they navigated their lives. And, some things work out and some things don't work out. And how did I kind of figure that out? I'm really not sure. I still don't know. I always say that I have this quality that I wish I could pass on to people, and that's just being naive. Like, I'm just really naive and don't think something's not going to work. And then when it doesn't work, all right, that didn't work. Let me move on. Now what am I going to do? So that's helped me kind of get through my life.
And one of the things that you did throughout your career is continually innovate based on just something you needed. Like, you didn't think it was such a big deal to start mixing this and mixing that because that would look better. And then only then realizing, wait, this is something I could package up and market and things like that. How did it feel even the first time? I mean, you tell us in the book as you go through it, your first line, which came about pretty accidentally. Maybe you could share the story a little bit and talk about how you feel about it.
Sure. As a young makeup artist, I never could find lipsticks on the market that you put on that you look good. Like they were just, I hated one after another. So in order to get the look I wanted, I used to take a cream blush and put it with a little Vaseline and add a little bit of this taupe pencil on it to kind of get the tone down. And that was my perfect lipstick. I'm like, oh my God, I wish I could find a lipstick this color. And I searched and I couldn't. And then on an accidental meeting, I met a chemist and I told him about this. And he said, I can make it for you. And he did. And it was, not exactly what I wanted, but sending it back a few times, we finally figured it out. And that's how I started.
That's so great. And you talk about Leonard Lauder and what a mentor he was, particularly at the beginning, and that he even kind of came full circle at the end and sort of apologized for the way that the brand had evolved in the company, which you also describe in great detail. Talk about the importance of having someone in your corner like that, someone who sees you for you and wants you to just really show all your stuff.
I mean, it's amazing. I'm really lucky to have had Leonard, and there's a few other guys in my history that, our CFO, David Nass, people that I could really be myself with in business and not understanding what half of, the conversation was about sitting in these meetings, but they would turn to me and always explain it to me. And then I would understand it. Or afterwards, they would explain it to me. You know what this means? And I didn't have to feel bad because I didn't have the same understanding of the conversation, because you could feel like, oh, I must not be smart enough, or I, don't have the experience to be sitting in this table. But when I understood exactly what they were talking about, I'm like, oh, yeah, you know what you should do? This is what you got to do to fix it. So, it took me a while to kind of understand that I didn't have to feel bad about it, but I did have people that understood what I had to offer and were not judging me for being something I'm not.
So until I read the book, I didn't realize that part of your massive expansion of the brand made you absolutely miserable. Like you were talking about years of your life, you were miserable doing something that someone from the outside would have thought, wow, she must be like having the time of her life. And yet what meets the eye is not always the case. Can you talk about those years? Because that is sort of soul sucking to have that kind of feeling.
Well, look, it wasn't years I was miserable. I was miserable the last year. The year before that, I was still hopeful, aggravated and hopeful.
Okay.
Before that, I was on autopilot. Yeah. Did I want to be getting on airplanes on a Sunday to do, a week in Asia, like full on touring without having a moment to myself and missing my little kids? I had to do it. I was contracted to do it. I did it. Did I like doing it? I enjoyed moments of it, but overall it was pretty grueling, especially when you come home and you've got these little kids at home. You had to kind of snap back and then run back into meetings, and I somehow miraculously got through it. And it's really interesting. After all these years, I now could look back and only see the good things, right? The things that aggravated me, I kind of let go of, and now I could see the good things. And yeah, there was, even in the last 2 miserable years, there were good things that happened. And, sometimes it takes a new perspective when you walk away and you could just kind of say, huh, okay, and then you just have a new perspective and say, okay, I did that. I learned from this. I got this. And then, I was lucky enough to find a transition into something else that could actually make me happy.
Amazing. And now, of course, you have a whole new business. You're like, just in case you thought it could only happen once, and now with Jones Road, which is so exciting. Do you feel like starting a business at this point versus the first time? Obviously, you know so much more having done it. But what else is it that is informing the way you're marketing this brand versus before? Like when you think about the marketplace and everything, obviously things have changed. You're the OG and natural beauty and all that. But
Well, first of all, things are so different launching a brand now than 30 something years ago. I mean, everything is different, from I used to have to go stand in department stores and maybe if we were busy, see 100 people in 4 hours. Now put something on social media and you've reached a couple 100,000 people in 2 minutes. So, big difference there. So, I think just being able to know what goes into everything and what is needed to start and grow this company is important, but also knowing what not to do.
Mm.
Right? There was a lot of things that were just the way we do things. We just have these meetings. We just hire these consultants. We just do this. And I'm like, now guess what? I'm doing the same thing differently, and we don't have to do that. We don't waste time. We don't waste money. We don't spend things on things we don't need to. So it's more exciting for me. And also, I started the company years ago and I was the boss, and then I wasn't for many years. And now I'm the boss again. And, it's a nice feeling.
I bet. Well, the one thing that you didn't deviate from, which is so amazing with all the pressures you had going on, was your devotion to your kids and the identity of yourself as the soccer mom. You have a whole chapter on it, but just how you want to dress, who you want to be, what you're not willing to give up on. Tell me more about that, because I know so many women are trying hard to carve out that niche for themselves.
Well, I think I was really lucky. First of all, I didn't have a lot of role models because no one talked about their children at work in those days. You just didn't have a life. You just came to work and you were a worker and that's it. And, commuting, I raised my kids in New Jersey in the suburbs. So there was commuting. I turned the negative of commuting into a busy time for me that I could like get organized and make lists of what I needed for the kids and, finish some work things and do the home things, pick up the phone and call my sister, my mother. So I used those, negative things into something positive. And, raising kids to me is the best job in the world, but I was not equipped to be a stay-at-home mom, not for a nanosecond. But luckily for me, I was able to work from home a couple days before it was popular. So I was able to balance, my life with my work. And then, my work and my kids and my family have always been intertwined. And now in the new world in Jones Road, so many of my employees have young children. And you know what? I get it when they say their kid is sick and they're taken to the doctor. I get it when they say, it's the last day of school and they want to, do this and that. Like, I get it, where it was really tough for a lot of people for years in a big corporation. You just couldn't be absent from work.
I remember asking even my dad to take off work and, coming to a school play, and
Yeah.
he's like, you're literally a
No.
statue. I took a whole half day of work to watch you stand as a statue in this play. And
Oh, I know. But we were there. Look, I never missed one of my kids' sing-alongs. I think I missed one. And honestly, I look back now and I'm like, my kids had no talent. But I was there watching them sing. And, when the whole class was going up, my son was going down. Like it was, but I never, I didn't want to miss being there. I didn't want to see their faces, miss their faces. I wanted to go out with them and get pizza afterwards. And I wanted to see the other parents. Like that was my community and that was my identity. So, there was times where I said no to a big fancy, dress up corporate dinner or some fabulous dinner because I wanted to do those things with my kids. I just realized it made me happier.
it's amazing. Well, it's so great you could make it work that way. It's just really awesome. You talked a lot throughout the book about your own body, your body image, your family's influence on that, your height, your weight. How are you feeling about things now, and how has the evolution been?
I mean, look, I am fine with it all because I realized I don't have a choice. And I am, luckily I'm still 5 feet tall. Like I hear you're supposed to lose inches. And I actually was measured at the doctor as 5 1/4. And I don't know why. I was standing up very straight. I'm going to go with that. And, I talk about it because no one talks about it. Like I always have these conversations with celebrities and they're, telling me how they feel about themselves, what they're struggling with. They never talk about that in public in real life. So, I know other women feel just what I feel. And honestly, I feel great. I know I'm in, the best shape of my life. Maybe not this week because my calendar is outweighing my exercise hours, which it's my fault. I scheduled it that way. But I feel good because I'm able to pick up my grandkids. I'm able to sit on the floor and get up without my hands. I'm able to take my suitcase and put it up, on the airplane. And, it seems silly, but, when you're in your 60s, you have a choice, to feel good in your body or not. And the great thing about getting older, like I'll never look like a supermodel. And guess what? I don't care anymore.
It doesn't sound like supermodels are having such an easy time aging either.
No, no, no. I don't think, the thing is, it's not easy for anyone, right? I mean, nothing is easy. Like, that's the one thing. It's like, I am sorry, nothing is easy. Having a happy marriage for 37 years, it's amazing. It's not easy, it's a lot of work. Being a mom, now being a mother in law, being a grandmother, having employees, like having friends, like, I mean, my friends luckily understand that I go in and out of these periods where I'm not reachable. And, they accept it. And that's why they're friends.
That's amazing. Yeah, you write about your crew in Montclair and how
Yeah.
important they are to you. That's so nice to have. I feel like those touchstones make all the difference all the time.
They do.
Obviously. You have always been committed to making women look the best they can be and not making them look a certain way. And you stood your ground when it came to changing the color based on skin types and what one market wanted you to do for the Asian market and black market and whatever. How can women find that inner beauty? How do we, like, it's one thing for you as someone with an eye towards this to see what needs to be done to bring out the best in someone, but like, how can women find that in themselves? Like, what can you learn, help others?
Well, if you're not sure, you find an expert, right? I mean, you find, I'm not just saying this as a promotion, but you go to a Jones Road store and say, help. This is what I want to look like, help.
Yeah.
You can go to any makeup store, if you happen to like the way the person looks, by the way, behind the counter.
Mm.
That's, something you always have to look for. You can also, study online. I mean, I have a master class online that people could watch, and I taught everything I know about makeup. But it's the same thing with your hair. It's the same thing with your clothes. And I've worked hard over the years to help my clothes wardrobe kind of be like my makeup wardrobe, because I'm not a fashion person. I like simple things. I happen to really like your sweater, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Who makes that sweater?
This is Jay McLaughlin.
Oh, it's really cute.
Thank you.
Really, really cute. Very summery, So, I work on my makeup bag, and I work on my wardrobe, and I work on the things in my life, like making a smoothie. Like, all these little things make a difference. And it's kind of the same with finding your own style.
Mhm.
And, I like to look less dressed up than anyone in the room. Like,
Mm.
I'm comfortable that way. And I think I look the best. Like, I had a blowout today and it was not great. No, it was
Really?
not great. It was, every time I looked, I did a couple podcasts this morning and I just kept looking at these cascade of waves and curls and I just didn't feel like myself. So the last thing I did, I put it in a ponytail and I'm like, you know what? I didn't really need a blowout. Like, did you get a blowout?
No, I didn't even shower yet today. Don't even repeat that. But
I
yeah.
haven't either. I'm still in my exercise clothes. So, it's those days happen. We're having friends over for dinner. I will hop in the shower and, and fluff up my downstairs.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. But it's like, but this is like, I've always used these moments to connect with other people because we're all the same. I mean, I've done 2 loads of laundry and, 2 dish loads on and in between doing all my fabulous interviews. but that's life right now,
Mhm.
right? So, and I didn't put makeup on since this morning, so it's still fine. Still okay.
Uh, well, being so authentic and not taking yourself too seriously, because I feel like that's really what it is. If you're so consumed, right, with how you're presenting to others, it's taking time away
Yeah.
from something else, right?
It's the noise too in your head.
Yeah.
I remember a particular moment. I had a book party years ago for one of my books, and we always wanted to try to find a celebrity to come by. It was like the early paparazzi days. And I happened to be friends with Lorraine Bracco and I asked her, is there any way? And she said, sure, I'll come by. I'm coming home from California. I will do my best to come by. And I didn't know she was going to make it until the last minute. And she walks in, and she's very tall. She's like 5'9", 5'10". To me, that's tall. And she had not a stitch of makeup on. And this was in the 90s where people didn't do that. But she walked in, and her hair was like this, and a ponytail was kind of coming out on the side. She had no makeup on except maybe some moisturizer. And I said to myself, she looks amazing. It was the first time I saw someone show up looking like that. And it kind of helped me realize that, you know what, I could be like that too.
Role models. Well, now we've moved all the way to the Pamela Anderson model of things.
Well, that's great. I love Pamela Anderson. I'd love anything to do her makeup. She could use just a teeny bit. Like we could all use a teeny bit, just a teeny bit. A little concealer, a little mascara, pinch your cheeks, just something. But I love what she's doing, but little.
Yeah. I feel like mascara is the most important. That's my personal. What do you think?
I think mascara is number 2. For me, it's blush. It's blush and moisture. I need moisture more than anything. There's days where I could just take an oil stick and literally put it all over and not even put makeup on and be like, oh my God, I look so much better. Because, when you have dry skin, and then my next thing would be blush. So I can't see that much, but okay, I look better.
And now we have another masterclass. Just
Yeah,
like that.
exactly.
It's that easy. You take the stick.
It is that easy. Those 2 little things. And for everyone, it's different. Like this is a bright pink color. I love pink on the cheeks. And this is just an oil stick because I have really dry skin. So if you're someone that doesn't have dry skin, you're not going to love this, if you have oily skin. And if you're someone that likes a pale orange blush, you're not going to like this either. But you could find your whatever color you like. And just by 1 or 2 things, you're like, oh, I look better. I feel better.
It's amazing.
Simple.
It does. It looks great, by the way. Now it's like
Thanks.
fading in and like it's like the perfect.
Right.
I mean, if you couldn't
Yeah.
find yourself the perfect makeup after all this, I mean, forget it.
Exactly.
And the rest of us are out of luck. The question of retiring, out of the question forever, right? You're just going to continue to innovate and do new things, or what do you think?
I don't understand what retire means. Retire sounds like you're tired. And how many people said to me while I was building Jones Road, oh, you're retired now. I'm like, first of all, what am I? Like an Alta Cocker? What am I? Like, no, I'm not retiring. And, I'm working on some projects, I'm working on some projects. So I can't imagine myself ever not doing something that I can't wait to do when I wake up in the morning. Whatever the project is, and I have a lot of projects right now. It's not just Jones Road. I mean, my Substack is a project. My, my hotel that I own with my husband is a project.
Yes, that is so cool, by the way. Can you tell me more about that? That is just the coolest. I was looking at all the pictures.
It's so much fun. I do that entire Instagram myself.
Wow.
Oh no, I literally like find people that post pictures of the George and say, can I use it, please? And, it was my husband came to me after I left Bobbi Brown Cosmetics and said, I just bought a building. I don't know if I'm if I'm gonna make it into condos, but I thought, why don't we, build a hotel? And I was like, huh? Never ever like concepted that or thought about it. And then I said, sure, sounds like fun. And it was intense. We deep dove head first into what the building should look like because it was a wreck. he did all of that. And then, you know, from choosing the paint color to the carpeting, to the molding, to the lighting, then to, you know, the beds and what kind of sheets and what kind of. So I really got excited when I was able to start seeing it come to life. And then I'd reach out to Casper and say, we need mattresses, we need sheets, you know, can we do something? And they became partners, you know, and we did the same thing with Nespresso and the same thing with my brain is, you know, the hair dryer, the
Dyson?
come on.
Dyson.
Thank you. Same thing with Dyson. Yeah. So, you know, when you stay at the hotel, you're like, wow, a nice hair dryer. And by the way, if you take it home, please enjoy. We will charge you. It costs $400.
You know, we do these reading retreats. I'm currently planning one in Palm Beach, but we should do one, a retreat at the George.
Oh, 100%. There's 32 rooms.
Perfect.
You know, there are some buyouts that people do this thing. So, and the hotel works with you. And I mean, I did one that I invited. It was called Women of Influence, where I invited 32 women to come in and have conversations about empowerment, get their makeup done. It was really, really fun. And then we did hip hop in the exercise outside. We planned all these things. So it's a great place for that.
If we did a retreat, would you maybe you could come and like say something?
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, when it comes, I'd have to have my own retreat because I'm not a reader. I'm a listener.
No, you don't have to read.
Oh, you don't have to read?
You don't have to read on the retreat. No, you don't have to read. We just bring book lovers together for like great meals, great times.
Yeah. Well, I will bring my husband because he is the most well-read guy. And, you know, he reads nonfiction. I mean, he reads fiction. I read nonfiction, you know, and he just loves talking to people that love books. He loves books.
Amazing. Couples retreat.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, amazing. Okay. Well, thank you so much. I'm such a huge fan. I've been using your stuff forever and just have looked up for you for so long. So this has been a real nice treat for me personally. So thank you.
Thank you. How's your book doing?
Okay, good. You know, thank you for asking. Yeah.
Yeah. When did it come out?
It came out last October.
Okay.
And so it had been on the USA Today list for a while. And then thanks to Authors Night and all those little interviews, it got back on. So that was nice.
Oh, good. Excellent. Yeah. No, it's, you know, writing a book is a business. Yeah. It's not just about writing a book. You know, it's marketing, the PR, the promotion. Oh my God. It's all consuming.
Yes. Not for the faint of heart.
Yeah. No, it's not. Where's your retreat in Palm Beach?
We're actually, my inbox is filled with 4 different quotes from hotels, but one of the hotels in Palm Beach. I mean, if you want to be a part of that, please do. That's in January.
Well, we're in the winter, like all of the other Jewish people my age. We're in Florida, and we're in Palm Beach Gardens, so not far from it. But just keep me on the list, and who knows?
Oh, amazing! Would love that. Yeah. It's January 30th to February 1st, and we usually have about 40 people who we book rooms for. But a lot of people already have asked us for day passes, so we'll probably do about 100 for the day on Saturday.
Amazing! Is it all women?
No, I mean men are allowed. It's fine.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right, cool.
All right, come. All right, I'll send you an email. Maybe you could do a panel or something.
Yeah, I'll check. I have one trip to the Bahamas. I don't know if it's that weekend or the one before, so I'll let you know.
Fingers crossed.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, awesome.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Totally Booked with Zibby, formerly Moms Don't Have Time to Read Books. If you loved the show, tell a friend, leave a review, follow me on Instagram @ZibbyOwens, and spread the word. Thanks so much. Oh, and buy the books.